Hello everyone, it's Old Guardian here. In this Warcraft Rumble dungeon guide, I'm going to take a look at Blackfathom Deeps on an Undead week, and more specifically, I'm going to take a look at this Baron Rivendare army that I used to clear this at red difficulty. So in addition to Baron Rivendare, I'm using Plague Farmer, I'm using Skeletons, I'm using Safe Pilot, I'm using Whelp Eggs, I'm using Prowler, and I'm using Pyromancer. So why these minis? Safe Pilot is quite mandatory in order to be able to contest the Murlocs on the first map. Pyromancer, I find it really important because there's plenty of gargoyles on the second map and I want to beat those. Prowler, well, there's all sorts of ogre mages and there's also some banshees on the second map. Prowler is excellent against all of those. Then some of that unbound power with the whelp eggs with the skeletons, just taking towers, attacking bosses. And I have one more undead slot and I use Plague Farmer just so that I have some area of effect damage. The first boss in Blackfathom Deeps is Mrglgrgl, and Mrglgrgl's special mechanic is lots of Murlocs. There's going to be Murlocs spawning here, Murlocs spawning here, and Murlocs spawning from here and running towards here, where they can also shoot at your base uncontested. So that's why you kind of need the Safe Pilot so that you can blow these Murlocs away. As for these Murlocs, these can also be destroyed with a Safe Pilot. These are a little trickier, it's really hard to try to hit them. I actually don't even know if they can be hit. But yeah, some really annoying Murlocs. So your main strategy is to take this tower, the right tower, and then push towards the boss from here. These Murlocs are easy to kill, and then your mini that kills them, like Safe Pilot, can also walk down here and also attack the boss. Sometimes this gets really clogged though. The pathway is quite narrow, and then you just need to use some unbound minis so that you can get more pressure on the boss. When you get to the higher difficulty levels, you typically want to take both towers because the boss has earth elementals, and as long as you have both towers, the earth elementals will not spawn at your base. But if you only have one of the towers, then earth elementals can attack your base directly, and that can be very nasty. But on lower difficulty levels, it's enough to typically just take this one tower and push at the boss. The second boss, Baron Aquanis, has a lot of flyers, including many gargoyles. And once gargoyles reach your base, yeah, that's going to hurt, so typically need something like a Pyromancer to handle those. Other than that, there's 3 towers here, but I actually never ever take that tower. I usually take this one first. If it's a fairly simple map or if everything is going really well, then I can take the tower and just shoot at the boss immediately. If it's a little bit more difficult, then I may need to take both of these 2 towers so that the gargoyle spam towards my base is going to stop. That will also give me access to this gold vein and will give me a good place to position troops from here, so it makes it a little bit easier to attack the Baron. But other than that, there's flyers, there's those gargoyles, drakes, there's griffin riders, lots of flyers, and there's some banshees as well, so just be prepared for those, grab some towers and hit the boss. The third boss, Aquanis, is a Hydra. There's 3 heads, there, and there. And once you kill all of these 3 heads once, then they will all respawn there at the end, and then you will have to kill them again. And this boss, this really likes to swarm you with a lot of stuff, so you need a bunch of area of effect damage. What's most important in this one is to immediately take this head and take this tower. So once you have this tower, you will secure access to some gold. There's not that much gold in this map, and then you will be in a good position to take down the other 2 heads and then go for the final kill. I like to do a Safe Pilot or something over here so that it will kill the Murlocs and hit the head right early on and then go for here. Whether you need to defend the initial push from the right, it varies a little bit, but preferably you try to let the tower handle those and then just go with your minis to the left, because taking this at the start is of paramount importance. And this is what Baron Rivendare in Blackfathom Deeps looks like in action. First up, Mrglgrgl, and let's go. I'm trying to attack the right tower. I'm also trying to grab the chest and put some attack on the left tower at the same time, and using the Safe Pilot to grab all of those Murlocs. So I'm trying to do a lot here at once, but it's important to get a good start to this map, because I find that if I can't grab some towers right at the start, well, both towers are not necessary to grab right at the start, but if I can't grab at least one tower at the start, I just tend to get overwhelmed. But here I'm just barely able to grab both towers. Alright, the first tower is already up. Second tower falls momentarily, but I'm going to be able to get there. It's gonna be fine. Sadly, my miner is going down to those murlocs. It's going to be a lot of those murlocs spawning all the time. And some pressure is already on the towers, but it's okay. Now, because I have the cheap skeletons, they can also grab a chest. And basically that's a free chest because I get all the gold back. And here you can see I'm using Safe Pilot to take out some of those murlocs that are defending. Because then my army has a better approach to get towards the boss. And now the Safe Pilot is also doing a lot of work just shooting at the enemy army from above. So I find that position, and that's why the right lane is easier, because you can take that position, you can control that position yourself and gain advantage from there. And alright, then we're starting to try to attack at the boss, but as you can see, it's a narrow path and it's not always easy to get the attack going there. Another Safe Pilot immediately grabbing those. Another skeleton body, not skeleton body, just skeletons. Just grabbing the chest, and we've already managed to deal a whole bunch of damage to the boss. So at this point I'm starting to think, okay, well, I might actually just go for some unbounds here, because it tends to be pretty difficult to just keep the pressure up when you're trying to punch up, because the enemies, they have an advantage against you. It's really hard to hold on to all the towers. So now I'm just using my unbounds, using whatever minis I have here, and boom, boss goes down. And on to the second boss we go. Now I have the double damage, but also half health, so I'm going to be vulnerable, but when you're punching up, you're going to be vulnerable no matter what, so double damage is just really, really good here. And the most important thing is that I need to keep in mind that I have to have a Pyromancer ready if I need to defend. Pyromancer is my main defense against those gargoyles. You can see a gargoyle right there. So I'm trying to take both towers so that there wouldn't be gargoyle spam. A Bat Rider, a couple of vultures, those are not dangerous. My base can handle those. So now I want the tower so that gargoyles cannot be spammed at my base. Alright, now we have limited the gargoyle spam. Gargoyles now have to take a tower first, which they might do, but that gives me much more leeway when I'm on the defense. And as you can see, using Pyromancers mostly to defend against gargoyles. They are spectacular in that job. One of the best minis to defend against gargoyles. And I'm trying to push a little bit at the boss, trying to get some distraction in so that Pyromancer would have a chance to shoot multiple times, but this time it actually failed a little bit. Bat Rider is a super big risk when you take the relic that you have half health, because Bat Rider's pools are just going to annihilate your minis. So it's going to be a lot of work to try to defend against the Bat Rider successfully. That's a bit of a downside, but still, well, it was the best relic that I was offered at that point. There's also those Banshees out there, and now it looks like my tower is going down. But on the other hand, the boss is also quite vulnerable right now. Boss has already taken a lot of damage, so I'm thinking maybe I can afford to just go at the boss, because you're trying to win these games, right? So kill the boss before the boss kills you. And now with the double damage, I'm just pushing at the boss. I allowed the tower to fall, it's fine, I still have time. Boss falls. And finally the third boss. There's going to be a lot of stuff coming. I'm trying to find, okay, do I have a Safe Pilot? I don't have a Safe Pilot. I tried to cycle a little bit. Can I get to my Safe Pilot? I was able to get the Safe Pilot. Safe Pilot so that all the minis around the boss are going to be dead, and the boss is starting to take some damage. And then we push at the boss. Then we use the Exhume Skeletons so that we're pushing at the tower really quickly, because that tower is going to decide it all. I have to be able to get that tower very early on, or I will lose this. I will be overwhelmed. Now it looks pretty good, because I should have enough tools here to defend that tower. And it looks like I do. The tower should be able to come up before anything else happens. Looks good. Alright, now that we have the first boss down and we have the tower, then we can start working on the other Hydra heads and just defend the tower, start working on the other Hydra heads. The order doesn't matter too much. Both are fine, really. And placing my AoE minis behind the tower so the tower will tank for them a little bit, and then they will start dealing damage. That's the plan. Tower tanks and the mini is going to deal the damage necessary to keep the tower safe. Right, 2 Hydra heads are down, and we're trying to work on the third. Slowly. Using the skeletons near the meeting stone because of the exhume talent, so I get more skeletons so that they will be able to contest the bandits better. Now my tower is not looking too healthy. I'm trying to save a little bit of gold. Again, using the tower to tank. I have the Pyromancer behind it, and then Pyromancer will be able to retake that. No worries. It's a little bit tough sometimes, but overall it looks quite alright. Also, the third head is finally going to go down, and that opens up the final boss fight against all 3 heads at the same time. So let's go. Now the waterfalls are gone, so my minis will no longer be destroyed if they go through here, and I can start working on these heads. There we go. I'll push on the assault. All of my minis only have half health. So in this boss actually half health was a little bit awkward, but you can try to play around it. You can try to make it so that your minis will get the first shot, and then the half health doesn't matter as much. Right, some harpies coming. Miss with the safe pilot, that was unpleasant. And as you can see, safe pilot died really quickly because they only had half health. Skeletons can be used defensively. There I placed basically a wall of 5 skeletons to protect my base a little bit there. The skeletons died quite quickly also because they had half health, but still, it's fine. Now I realized that, hey, there's actually a Quillboar here. Quillboar tanking for the harpies. I hadn't realized that, and I almost lost the base because of that. But overall, they should still be manageable. We're almost at overtime. But the Hydra heads are not very powerful. If I can just survive long enough, I can turn this around, I can stop the swarm and get my own things going, then the Hydra heads will fall really quickly if I can just get there. And that safe pilot was instrumental, because now I have more gold. I was able to just take a lot of enemies out there, and we're pushing the final assault. And this Hydra head, look how fast it goes down, and that's full clear with Baron at red difficulty. Thank you for watching. Click like and subscribe if you enjoyed this, and a special thanks to all of my Patreon supporters, YouTube members and Twitch subscribers who make all of these videos possible.